party, small party, or whether you're financially buoyant or not, PPRC also ensures we give a level playing ground for all political parties, in the country. And also it ensures say these political parties respect the 1991 constitution, not just that, also their own party constitution. They ensure say they abide to the constitution. And I want to use this opportunity for tell family the listening say, we don't get a new act like the Political Parties Act of 2022. The key changes, addition to this addition to this new act now that one, the name change. Say first when they call it Political Parties Registration Commission.
Yeah.
But the work what they do, not reflective of the name.
Okay.
Because we go beyond registration, we regulate, we look at, we supervise, we monitor.
Okay.
So same key change now that the name change.
Okay.
Now we don't come up from the registration to Political Parties Regulation Commission. And also the size of the commission. Now we get a 4-member commission, now we don't get a 5. We include a member from the Institute of Chartered Accountants because we get another addition into the act. We talk about political finance.
Okay.
And also the name, registrar, administrator and registrar general don't change to the executive secretary. Prior to now, the registrar general will be the secretary to the commission, but the executive secretary will do more of the job. So now everything there on the executive secretary, name change. And also the code of conduct.
Okay.
Before now, the gentleman's agreement of political parties.
Okay.
Because most time you get a backlash from the citizens say political parties that they behave in a disorderly manner. But what in PPRC they do? But back then when we get the gentleman's agreement, the law not being there.
Okay.
We not get the teeth for bet because more or less when we look at we've been a lapdog.
So have you now been
now
empowered?
Yes. So now the codes of conduct there where they tell you how political parties then for behave, and also penalty day.
Okay.
In an event, any political party go against their codes of conduct and the penalty day for that one, the way we can warn, if we continue, we can fine, we can suspend, and also we deregister. So that's and also a key addition to the new Political Parties Act of 2022.
Okay.
And then also, just like any other elections, the commission gets a unique activities and we don't put in place for ensure say political parties that behave in an orderly manner and we will manage them. So one of the activities, I will start with the one yesterday, immediate one yesterday. We may get a campaign mode and nomination criteria yesterday with political parties. Okay. So the main reason for this engagement with them are that because not just them, we call the security forces, civil societies, journalists, and the likes. The main reason for this one are that the commission will look at, say, rallies really could cause problem at the country, conflict. Because when they look at rallies, they really serve the purpose where they can come out for. Because at the end of the day, after rallies, we see some unfit. At some point, some people even lost their life. Okay. So we call them and engage them. It's not just about imposing things on them. Say no, this one for do. We like commission, we believe in engagement. So yesterday we get an engagement with them and get to talk with them. Say we not need for we pull this thing called rally. Now we get to designated areas where political parties that can converge and do their campaign instead of the rallies, because over the years we don't see lots of violence related to rallies. So when we get a mixed feeling yesterday at the hall, but a majority of the political parties kind of in favor of the rallies. Get free one or two handful of them we still in between say as we can look at other certain areas. And so now, and of course, if at the end of the day we meet a point at a point say political parties, not for all the rally, we can engage government and say make all state institutions be available to any political party we want campaign. Of course, that's one of the key mandates of the commission. And also we give a playing ground, a level playing ground for all political parties. So we do that engagement yesterday, and we go for do another meeting again because political parties. So we do that engagement and discuss and fair way how people get at the political parties and then try for finding a way forward. And also the commission intend for do what we call on in that access, whereby we engage stakeholders now various districts, because we get this notion of people who say this is a stronghold. Now I'm a stronghold. So I know they allow any of my opponents for camp day, for camp campaign.
Okay, hold that thought there because we'll come back to you again for let's expound more on the roles and receipt. I'd like on to you Alpha Saido. You now tell us your role there. Tell us your role there and what are the important things that you guys do for able for mitigate certain, for ease any issues then at the country?
Thank you very much. Family and us unadu. The statutory obligation where the Ministry of Information and Communications get to the people of Sierra Leone now for take the activities of government and the officials to the people there. What in government they do, what in government officials then they do. And also take suggestions, questions, opinions from the public to government. So now the ministry where they bring government to the people and take the people to government.
Wonderful.
The strategic communications unit in the public relations wing of the ministry. So anytime where government gets any activity, like where this may bother be to talk about this new law, the Public Elections Act of 2022. Okay, now we go explain that to people there. Because all this a whole now for make sure say it treats people them fairly, it also provide for them. I can always tell people and say anything you want to do, let me define that first. Okay? Politics not about violence. Politics not about mamikos. Politics is about people making an improvement in the lives of people. A political party now a group of people that will come together, people of like minds, they prepare and form an agenda, campaign on that agenda day. Where they win, they make sure say they deliver on them promises that day. That's what a political party is supposed to be. So a political party, they tell person say go fetch that person day. If you go fetch person, law day we go show how them for punish you. You know we go talk say oh this is a campaign period that make a go bond that man use. You cannot do that. So let people understand the definition there for me to know what thing they will do and what thing they not get right for do at all.
As the mouthpiece of government, waiting the Ministry of Information don't put in place as a structure in terms of security and also in terms of peace.
They call interacting unit. Okay, when are they all the help the work of government really now for orderly manage and control the affairs of the one who country. Okay, President Bio in one going to do all of that. Okay, now where it comes to regulating the activities of political parties, where now then are the key players in the political arena, now for that make it get PPRC. Okay, now PPRC, even though now the Constitution Act number 6 of 1991, when the Constitution of Sierra Leone, when the Supreme Law, 9 create them, but instead get the right for make EU regulations. Okay, it go carry Parliament approval. So now then don't tell you how you for register, which everything will qualify you for register. Okay, when you go through the criteria, then give you a registration certificate, what you get right for do, what you not get right for do. And then law they can change them as and when it's necessary. Because since the law then can say that they make provision for unforeseen circumstances. Like when you talk about the rally. All along when the political season can show, them campaign can involve or include rally. Where somebody do for and on behalf of a political party. Okay? Like the party get business, then see where the party call you there among them. Now you go fight organization or your own institution from that person their activities and help government and authorities there for catch that person there. Other than that, now you go suffer. And you are what the PPRC say. They get different way when they discipline party there. One, they will fine you. Number two, sometimes they will ban you. Then take your registration certificate now you have. When means say you know who participate again.
Mr. Bangura, there has been incidents on social media that has created incitement against the people of Sierra Leone, and when these things they happen, it led to what happened in August 10, where an insurrection took place, and people call a protest that couldn't have been a protest because police officers lost their lives and so many other destructive things that happened. as a ministry, we're responsible for information and communication. What has the government done? You know, because you're here to represent the government. So what has the government done for make sure see them amikosia and their incitement here? So it's been arrested to the point to which communications they had come out are being engaged appropriately in order for make people then stop for Hamburg and cause trouble in this country.
Thank you very much. Again, anything people they want to do, let them able to define that. Because the definition will show you how for doing. Now, a protest, now one of the way where people then they talk their mind, what's in them at the belly.
Okay.
It is. If you get a situation wherein somebody sit down overseas, it will tell people, they say, una common do, una take cutlass, una take tick. Any policeman who stop una kill him. Any Okada man who no one for join the protest, una take her, una kill him, una burn the house, una go attack the prison, una burn her. That one they not to free speech. That one they not serious guy. And it is also the responsibility of government for protecting people their life and their property. So when them thing and it happen, government gets law enforcement authorities there. Where now the people of Sierra Leone they pay them for protect life and property. So now that time they will see them people and they come in. Okay. Now another thing where government do for stop them bad thing and the way people and they do. Even then one day they outside the country. Yeah. Now that government get what in and call now the cyber security law. Where parliament don't pass, president don't sign up. That law they say if you dey outside Sierra Leone or you dey inside Sierra Leone, now you inside trouble, they will carry you go court.
Okay.
The court will find you. If you dey oversee, the government of Sierra Leone will go outside you dey. Country where you dey for make arrangement, let them bring you kind of salon, they can try you now.
Okay.
So now we get lost them about that, and that make they inform people and make them stay away from them thing they. And another thing I want to let people understand. There is a difference between a protest where citizens get right for protest.
Yeah.
If they get anything they don't like, they get right for draw attention to them. Say we not like this thing and give them suggestions or alternatives as to how to handle that problem there. But when people
Mr. Minigoto, you know possibly the work as a consultant for trying for mitigate issues them and solve problems them using the power of the brain. And your project has been renownedly known as something where they work. With waiting they go on now, the PPRC don't explain their own side, the Ministry of Communication rep don't explain waiting they happen, that the country, waiting at their own roles and responsibilities. Now what they are here as government reps, what can your project do to help support then line ministries there? So and this like an agency and this is a proper ministry for make this country go develop that peace and tranquility using that strategy where you they implement.
Thank you so much, CEO. With all the mentions, say having the platform with you now, I count them as a privilege. But this is a very good opportunity having today for interface with PPRC and Ministry of Information on the platform. I want them both to acknowledge now, saying, no matter the effort we institutions and ministries then do, if we not try for discover the underlying factors where really they influence people and for make certain decisions, the problem they remain the same. So this is why since inception in this country, they try, then because they don't try for discover the underlying factors.
Okay.
Attitude, I want for that or they are to know now, say, attitude can only be formed neurologically. Attitude can only be developed neurologically. And so attitude can also be changed neurologically. So if you know government no give them funding yet, because above all network, so I'll take this content to all institutions that now the neurologic principles and processes we go use for actually make the individual be violent free.
So essentially speaking, you will be ready and well placed for let you help
Readily available, sir.
the Ministry of Information
Yes, sir.
for carry out their duties them effectively,
Exactly.
even as they are doing the right thing.
Yes.
But that's implementation where you can't wait. We're able for help for even potentialize and more.
Right. And so now dynamic since inception where I start, I actually do the go out for let people and know say if developed nations they go through electoral processes violent free, there must be a cause. And that is neurologic. Now that process begins from fetus.
Okay.
It begins from fetus, birth, age 7, which powers the functionalities of the subconscious. So the person they live in the past powers the functionalities of the subconscious. So the person they live in the past of the neurologic connections we make from fetus birth to age 7 onto in current age. So that stimulates them with the fact of violence. We for be aware say it primarily embodied now the neurons, that not the brain.
And it can be changed.
It can be changed that and because the brain and neuroplasticity.
Okay.
Now neuroplasticity means that the brain get capacity to form itself and change and develop new cells and formulate new attitude. So like what I mentioned the other day, attitudinal and behavioral change is really possible.
Okay.
If dissemination of information, the enactment of laws, they don't continue over and again, but we still get violence where they be triggered at every level.
Okay.
You know, inside parliament itself, where then they enact and regulate the rules, they defend. Because there are causes where they trigger violence.
You call it a neurological
That
tragedy.
is a neurologic tragedy from my research I have discovered.
Okay.
Now this country gets a neurologic tragedy. But the good news is that it has solution. But, you know, sir, I will humbly submit to this audience now today that people who are strategically placed in this nation, only few are committed to seeing this nation develop. Plenty are interested, but they are not committed. So when you take things that will really factor the benefit for national development, they see it as if something else. That's a neurologic tragedy. So now, violence-free election, it is possible if we cohese and use the right mechanisms where they left the individual for be really in cohesion and relate the same content to a neighborhood, and this nation will benefit.
Wonderful. Coming back to you, Eugene, you were talking about some of the roles of the PPRC when I interjected you, because I will be one for hearing from Alpha Saidu Bangura Way, don't actually outline within our government roles and procedures them in terms of dissemination informations and the functionalities of different MDAs. Tell us about what you would say before you were interjected.
Thank you very much. So I've been the talk on this campaign mode yesterday.
Okay.
Now, like as I say, we get a new act now, and then we get the codes of conduct.
Okay.
We don't give the commission teeth for bet. Any political party we contravene the codes of conduct. But the commission they derive pleasure for use the laws they do.
Okay.
So now make we
only when it's necessary.
now make us say the commission always believe in engagement. So now make we get that a meeting yesterday with political parties, talk with them, because in an event maybe then come say no, we not agree, we want to go rally at the street, then the owners the responsibility they on you. Which any of them could conduct, and they would take action against you. So we try for ensure we not use, because we not derive pleasure in that. And of course the registration are the last step for the commission. We always frown at them. But if it happen and we need to use them, definitely we will use them. So on in that access, now, like as I say, people always get this notion, say yes, so I'm Mr. Gold, yeah, I'm Mr. Gold, so I know for allow me opponent for campaign day. Yeah. So the commission look at me and say no. Now we need to get engagement with critical stakeholders at the various districts, and they, including the chiefs, the police, civil societies, journalists, and the likes that wanna allow people for camp. If any political party come for campaign, wanna allow them, no need for threat them or for attack them. And also we intend to do a peace march. We want on the 23rd of June when at the cooling off period. Okay. But we get an advice, if we go ahead for allow political parties, leaders, and stakeholders for their part of the peace march, they were using for campaign. And then period not for campaign, I call enough period, calling political parties and say, when I come on the street and talk to my supporters and say, the day for election, go out, vote, and come home. But again, they were using for campaign and they go out for control. So what we do, we say no, we will get a pre-recorded speech where we will get a peer system now all over the country, all the districts where we go, then at the street we play their messages and all will revolve around peace.
Can you not engage the medias, especially audio visual medias, then say will be part and parcel of the process for disseminate the information there in a manner in which it will keep people then well informed?
Of course, anything they do, they involve the media.
Okay.
Like as I said, they were even present. They did it yesterday. The media, the police, for stakeholders and the likes. We're not to commission where they operate in isolation. We always invite them. Anytime we get to program the media, we did it. And we always inform them and tell them what the commission on they do. So yes, of course we use the media. We don't use the 1 or 2 instances for help disseminate. Bulk of the population active on social media. And then social media and main cause now a foundation who say a speech can come out. And we all know what a speech can lead to. You understand? Two for do. When I go talk to our supporters and I go talk to our constituents and say no, desist from this thing called hate speech. We know one time. Now make
interconnected, down to try to, if not train some of them journalists there, so for make them go be a bit sensitive to the climate, the election climate, and reduce their rhetorics there, so because we see a lot of headlines that a normal person will say, this is not correct, this is not right for the current climate where we in, and it does not reflect reality on the ground. So what has the PPRC done for that? Because it looked like to me, as somebody that understands human rights and human wrongs as well, that the president of this country do invest for repeal the libel law, and it looks like that has given impetus to people then for can attack the very system where they try for protect. Now it's in some form of shambles. Can you help in that area?
In as much as the commission go look for engage the media and provide solution to some problem, but we get a mandate, and we mandate not extend to media houses or on other areas. Now we get me board and I so now the area that one day we go like for one really, but we not commission will be.
No, when I don't get this new act where the police certain political parties and the thing about Sierra Leone, I can't to Alpha Saidu because that is his remit. But I wanted to explore it first with you. Because every political house in this country then gets the media interested. Then get certain media houses them way go do everything for back them. Whether it is bad thing that they do, then go twist and the other way around. That's a reality. We live in the real world. The point here is the checks and balances. Where does it start? I mean, how do we mitigate this situation for caution people then for say, okay, like how Alpha Saidu they say, free speech comes with responsibilities. So now that the government don't repeal the libel law, it don't make easy for people then for feel free for publish within they want for publish. Are they going to just decide say, okay, now I get the right for kill, so I go for go kill, or now I get the freedom for mess about, so I go mess about without looking at the consequences or thinking about the consequences that will come thereafter? Over to you, Alpha Side.
Thank you very much. Just like how my brother said, PPRC they work now for regulate the activities of political parties. Now, when it comes to regulating the activities of media houses, there is another government agency known as the independent IMC, we're responsible for that. Then the journalists them also get their own association / okay. Journalism like profession. If you are interested in it, it is best for you for go study them, for go through the rudiments of that profession there. We go show you what you for do and how for do am. The profession, it get code of conduct, it get ethics. Now, any media house, whether na print or whether na broadcast or whether na public relations or any kind media house, we put something out, we not correct about somebody else, the person get the right for go court. We get libel laws. Okay? President Bio and in government believe in free speech. Another thing I let people understand now that democracy not to just for go vote. It doesn't stop at that. Democracy is a system of government in which people get the right for pick and control who that they lead them. Okay? Now, but for me that one they be, it gets what they call fundamental principles we must be seen for men who say this democracy is the work. One of them fundamental principles that they na the rule of law. If you respect the law, anything you do. Okay? Now, the profession, journalism, they show you say, if you get something but you, where na the chief executive officer na ya. If you have to put them out, you don't get the fact, you self therefore come meet you, you the right, for me, you explain your part. Then they put all together. Because the job of the journalist now for inform the public. Okay? Now we put all the information we in get, the public then will make their own decision.
That's what you say is spot on. That's what is supposed to happen. But in Sierra Leone here, people can just get information. Some time ago, I was put in the media, and I don't even know what they do when they put me in the media. They say, pastor in corrupt scam. And the person who do it was paid to do this. And I went to the proprietor. I tell them, say, if what they say not true, let them print more. Let them put out more information. So then I requested, but if not true, let them retract. They did not retract. They instead decided to be intimidating myself, my family, and just because I don't play ball the way they want me for play ball. And in life, when you do something, as long as you know say what you do, not to you break the law, that the right you do. I can at this country, I feed people them free, get free school, free books, free uniform, everything free. That's my choice. I choose to do that. That is not breaking the law. If somebody feels threatened that my actions of doing something for free, helping people when they get buried, give them vehicle for go bury, give them food, rice, pamai and other, condiments them, just for help. I'm not doing it for politics. I do it because it's my office as a pastor for do good, to express the love of God to people. So if people get angry and decide, say, then they go hire journalists for slander me and attack me so that they go put me into submission, left for do what I do, they were wrong. So the proprietor decided to allow the editor to carry out his threat. I went to court. When I went to court, I won the case, but the case was never announced. The verdict was never announced. It was held, and I was able to mitigate the situation with the owner, who was in high place. I don't call his name, and we let forgive. So I forgive. But at the end of the day, that experience taught me a lesson that it is time for me to change the situation around, rather than just sit down and they go and do no more, and they do no more, and they do. And it's happening today. So we don't see Sludge put out a press conference. If you don't see something, call the person. Now this I see. Can you? I want to see the full length of what you talk about. I go able for make a statement in relation to which you say, but we didn't see that. And that if the body or the organization for journalists they able for do this, that sends a very bad signal to the journalist world. Say, you know, you have the right to just get up, brush your teeth, and write what you want to write, without looking at the veracity of what it really calls you for right what you right. You know, so the issue of investigation is what is lacking, as you were explaining. You know, so we need the Ministry of Information and Communication. When then the police, or then various line ministries like NATCOM, IMC, they work closely with the Ministry of Information and Communication, and we need for really get them for look into the conduct of some of these professions there. So why then they do, and we understand, say the very sludge is getting subversions from government. If government they pay them people here, then government for compel them for do waiting right rather than waiting long.
Thank you very much. We bound for don't go through the rudiments of the profession, the ethics, what you for do, how you for do. Also, Lord and they will protect people there. Just like you, when you think say they reduce you in the eyes of the public, you go court.
Yeah.
The court themselves get statutory obligation for make sure say they listen to both sides, look at all the evidence available, and at the end of the day give a verdict based on the evidence that they would see. If they're slow for do that, or if they don't do that, you can take it up to them again. I make again, even at the court, then get different level there. If you can case go na magistrate court, they not treat away with satisfied, go na high court. If you can the case go na high court, they not treat away where you gladly can go na the appeals court. If you go na the appeals court, they not treat and the way we suit you, go na the Supreme Court. If you go na the Supreme Court now, their own decision are final. You not get no other side they for go. But the law give all them different chance than they for they go seek redress. Now, anybody will make a statement we not right. If they prove say you know right. Take and go court, where you go court, you get for go hire a lawyer.
Okay.
Their lawyer they now they're very expensive. Not to acquire money for go hire. So what the government do instead, then create a statutory body where they call the IMC. Where they say you can go complain to them.
Okay.
They say then go arbitrate, then go look at your case, call all the parties and see if they go to settle and they. They self get the authority for take disciplinary action against the newspaper or the television where ambog you. All that one day not just for find way for make people them able for seek redress when they believe say person don't wrong them. These governments believe in free speech and they don't ever take people and free speech right from them. Now that make when President Bill come, he do something where no other president not able to. Just like how you be point out, he repealed Section 5 of the Public Order Act of 1965.
Okay.
That Section 5 day, it been say, if this you television station, then put out of that, a lot of people have been even afraid for put money on journalism. Because at the end of, even the man they sell you newspaper, they will hold them for sake of that one great thing there. So President Leo say, no, this is not right. He pull and come out. Now, he give you the right for talk anything you want to talk. But if you talk what you know right, actions they get consequences. And you must be bold and courageous enough for face them, just like I say recently, President Biodon begin help them, they give them subvention, they help them for men able to do their work independently. Men nobody no stop them, men nobody no interfere. But again, they get for do them responsibly. You get for do them in a way where you not go ambog in other person, you not go seize undue advantage over anybody. because everybody get right for live freely, everybody get right for enjoy the comfort of what this country they provide for them. Nobody no get no right for abog in the company. If you
Okay, so in the situation where a statement has been put out, well, a report to be precise, from the European Commission or European Union here, we then talk about some human rights record, Amnesty International, this policy, let them go into the call. Then now a report has come out where they say talk about human rights abuse. As Ministry of Information, I want you to educate the people of Sierra Leone and the viewers around the world. What is this report about truly?
well, I'm glad the way you don't lay them out for let people to understand. You dey inside salon and you dey follow within the app in a salon.
Yes.
So if Amnesty International or the United States government then go pull a report where you self no say no correct, then just not pay attention to them. Because human right, now God given right. Now the first I let people to understand. Okay? Now, if you believe say you get the right for Sidom na Holland, you tell people where they jail, where commit crime, they don't jail them. Say let them broke the jail here. Indeed, then grab one morning, they light fire, they kill water. That one day obviously they show say the security forces they for can sign for can maintain law and order. They cannot allow you for continue like that. If government decide for go take ion generator way buy na McKinney because McKinney no they use them again. Then decide for care and go na another sign a salon outside they really need them. And government take 1 whole month. They engage the stakeholders then a McKinney for me and see the need why government they can take ion generator. Then the stakeholders they now then they attack the one who go take the generator. Okay, obviously the security forces they will come for can maintain law and order because now that's they pay them for. Okay, President Bio not to get the salon police, so now they tell them what you for do or how for do. The police when they take you, then they go train you, they get them training school. You they tell you pass out, they get them manual them, they get the order, they get the directives, they know what thing they're supposed to do. Even the police. If they do waiting, you know say no get right for do, government gets a body where they go report them to. Where they monitor the activities.
Police complaints. The
police complaint board. Or you go to the police council when are the vice president now in the header. All them things and they are systems so the government create for let you seek redress and for my police they don't see advantage by nobody.
Okay.
Okay? Now, if you also get a situation now Tombo where government put regulation because that be corona time.
Yeah.
They say if you want to go fishing, now so you for do. They're not going to allow that huge number for load now one boat. If you grab say you don't like that regulation, you go burn police station for that, or you go to hospital, you burn the hospital road in a Tombo. Obviously, police they go come.
Law and order.
Then therefore can maintain law and order, not a human rights violation. That. Okay. Now. How you get right for live peacefully? That's what the other person get right back for live peacefully. But if you go burn police station, then you want let the policeman and just leave you like that? No. If you wake one morning just because political operatives of a political party all man know, then grab and go tell you say this chief are there against the party, una go na losa, una light fire na the chief use, una burn motor carry. Obviously policeman then go come. So their international body there, it go better let them they find out waiting really they happen rather than just they look at waiting a few idle people and they tell them. But as a government, we tell God thank you way una the citizens them, una know waiting they happen at the ground. From where President Bio come to now, he no sees advantage by nobody, non-journalists no day. Where they don't all because of how they practice in profession.
One thing we the bothered me small and as bothers me because as a citizen of Sierra Leone and also as a leader in the religious circle, I believe say now everybody in life, in right to life, whether you're a government person, whether you're a civil service, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a business person, whether you're a Okada rider, or it doesn't matter. What matters is you're a human being, you get a right to life. Whether you're a party A or party B, you day, whether not the north or not the south, you day, you get a right to life. Does the human rights people then with rights then report here, are they saying that the right of the police officers that will die does not matter? Because we don't see anything about that in this report, and that's very disturbing. Because in as much as we want to say that this body responsible for that or this or that, the point here is Sierra Leoneans died somewhere in uniform, trying to defend the peace of this land, and it is not reflected in that report. How then can that report be credible?
Well, I'm glad you don't see say they reported the bias. Luckily for me, me don't live in America where we all believe say na the mother and father of democracy in the world. I lived there for 20-something years. The same philosophy, 90 days. Actions are followed by reactions. Anytime people they riot, policeman and they come. And when policeman, America police self, any side you go again God. You know, it's not like when I away past the situation and they arise, now you go see OSD there. America, any policeman will wear uniform again God. Okay? Now, if you grab, you take tick for her, now you go in the police state. Now, again, when policemen they abuse the authority, way they back for Angola, the law they will protect everybody. Just like I say, everybody in life matter. I believe say even when incidents can happen, when police they shoot person, the person die, they self go regret that. Okay? If you get a situation where you don't see that person, don't become so violent, say if they kill person, it's difficult for control the situation. But when the unfortunate situation can happen, let we see how government can handle that. Right now, when August 8, August 9, and August 10 last year happened, government don't set up a committee for investigate what thing caused that and what they're waiting for do for men and they not happen again. That's what any responsible government will do all over the world. Now America, almost every week you go one Christmas gap no more, you go na a public place, you begin shoot. Sometimes police then go engage, and sometimes the police then go shoot them back, or sometimes I self go kill himself. Yeah. At the end of the day, the government go investigate, they take corrective measures for make them kind of thing and they not happen again. The long and short of it now that let people they learn for match up to their responsibilities. As a citizen, your responsibility now for make sure say you live peacefully, you not ambug nobody, you not incite nobody, you not broke no law. Okay. Sierra Leone is not just a country of men and women, it is a country of laws. Anybody who broke the law self will better. I will continue for say this stay if fasting na people they hate. Not think say when they say you get free speech right, you get right for go cause person mommy. For cause person mommy all over the world. No offense. Any side way in the world where you grab you go cause person mommy, they go court for that. So it is wrong. It is not something any sensible person for accept. So a man the way cause him mama, na kill him go and kill himself. Because that is how strongly he feel about him mama. He play with him mama. So they brought up things that they for left them. Because now all that thing that they provoke a reaction.
Talk about what happened at Tombo, how government made some rules and say do not disobey these rules or these laws, and some people decided that they were going to go against it, and the backlash was that if government make this law, then they go and then did go and burn police station and
burn hospital.
What's your take on that in your neurologic tragedy project where you try for bring camp for help educate people them na salo.
Thank you so much, sir. Like that kind scenario there, now factors them way how God make the brain, because the brain are the most complex property on the entire universe.
Yeah.
In functionalities, they're very also unique. The brain get different regions them we require for working cohesion. If the working conflict in neurodissonance, it cause the person also for exhibit conflict easily. Now, so what did happen? We make up a neurologic composition from futures back to age 7, then to the current age. They light up. The stimulus them will without occur from the tender wood in our mama and belly.
Okay.
Now, a firing at the brain of the baby. So firing is good, beating is good. So violate PPRC today and the decision makers. Now that we can really set the individual to be a better person. There's what is called in the brain the RAS, the reticular activating system. That we get in neuroscientific principles and processes. One, when our inner size, we'll go use for fire and wire, then cells and then at the brain. We're going to formulate the individual makeup for really coordinate this left brain, the right brain cell system, and central nervous cell system.
And that is done with some workshops.
Yes. And then the person go left for capture a better mental picture for himself. The reason why anybody, they see violence and get involved there, he doesn't know what the brain can offer for him to make a success.
Yeah, there is a better alternative.
There are better alternatives. So now the reason why the two people them way you get on the panel, so no go ever involve in violence act, not the neurological composition.
Yes.
There's nothing that will trigger that. So now, why? Because there is what they look for mentally. So you also they trigger that through the neuroplasticity for let somebody see how the world better by just using the brain. And the deception about learning at this part of the online don't make this tragedy so sweet.
So this process of trying to solve them problems there can be done without any big expenditure.
No, you know that's not the sweet thing about the neuroplasticity. You don't need that kind of expenditure where, you know, the problem. Now, Albert Einstein once said, say, doing the same thing over and again and expecting a different result is insanity. So now we they actually make the same effort. Now, rules and regulations have been made since 1808.
Yes.
Yet we have violence. They have been made yearly. They are renewed yearly. Yet there is violence. Because there are underlying causes to that. It is not only possible, but absolutely possible that you really go to the bullying. And if we engage these things I'm saying, two categories of neuroscientific principles we use, methodologies. One is called inner size. The other is called language nutrition. Language nutrition is designed for footers, birth to